Hello everyone, and welcome back to my bathroom. So, I love tattoos. I think they're a great form of self-expression, and they can really be beautiful pieces of artwork. However, they don't always work in every environment. If you follow my channel, you know that I am an actress and a classical singer, so I work both heavily in opera and in musical theater. And the problem with that is having visible tattoos will really limit the roles that you are able to play, and there's also, still a little bit of discrimination against people with tattoos. So, it is always a good idea to know how to cover them when you need to. And this goes for anyone in any kind of professional setting. So today, I'm gonna show you how I cover mine. Specifically, my Phantom of the Opera half sleeve. As much as it always pains me to do this, it is unfortunately necessary. I'm gonna teach you my personal go-to method. So first, I'm going to introduce you to the products that I use. The two things that I use together are Mehron Tattoo Cover and Ben Nye Media Pro Coverette Concealer. These are both stage makeup brands, very well-respected stage makeup brands, and both work beautifully. This is the kind of stuff they use professionally. So the thing about tattoos, especially when you're talking about a color like black, you need to color correct first. If you put concealer just straight up on a black tattoo, it is still going to show through. So what you have to do is color correct. And the way you do that is by taking a shade of makeup that is the opposite of the color of your tattoo on the color wheel. And because there are green pigments, oddly enough, within black, red or pink works to color correct black, and it will neutralize the pigment and make it possible to cover. So the makeup that I have here, it does not look very pink. However, it does still have pink pigments in it, and so it does work to cover the black. This is formulated specifically for covering tattoos. So first want to get out your tattoo cover, and I use just a concealer brush. It says on the packaging to use a makeup sponge and stipple it on, but I have never found that to work for me. I feel that the concealer brush works much better. So, what I do whenever I start on my tattoo is I always put my energy first in the most difficult parts to cover, which is going to be the line work and the really heavy dark parts of the tattoo. So I've got my color correct on the foundation brush now, and I am just laying a really thick layer of it over these really dark parts of my tattoo. Sorry, Eric. I really, really love Ben Nye and Mehron. They have always provided excellent coverage for me, and they are also very long-lasting. It's definitely something I trust for like an all-day wear situation. So. And I will speed most of these moments up for you because it can take a long time. So let's make this tattoo disappear. This is a very tedious, exhausting process, to be honest. So that's why you definitely want to start with the most difficult parts so that you make sure that they get the most attention and are going to be fully covered. It is helpful to have another person help you when your tattoos are as large as mine, but you know, that is not always going to be an option, so I would get used to doing it by yourself. And a lot of the time, in a professional setting, they will have a makeup artist that knows how to do this very well, is very well trained in it, and will cover it. But if you're still doing like amateur theater, that's not always going to be the case. So it's extremely good knowledge to have, and it's best to, you know, basically let the people know ahead of time that you can cover it, that you know how, and it helps you to make sure that you show up to auditions with these tattoos covered, so that it won't affect, you know, their decisions. Plus, I just feel that as actors, it's kind of, you know, most of our makeup, just our generic makeup, is kind of our responsibility. A lot of even, you know, Broadway phantoms like to do most of their own makeup, as difficult as it is. It's just kind of a responsibility that a lot of us feel that we have in our craft. So I usually do this before I get to the theater, and then if they have a makeup artist on site, we'll let them touch it up if they feel that it needs to be, and just so that they know that I am ready to go and they don't have to worry about spending forever on me. You don't want to be a high maintenance actor, because it's going to make you less likely to get cast. And as you can see, pink pigments in this, and just the overall thickness of the makeup is starting to make that black disappear. And the fresher the tattoo, like the newer it is, and the heavier the line work, the more difficult it is going to be to cover. That's just a reality of having tattoos. You know you have a good makeup artist when your tattoo is really hard to cover. My artist is very good with line work and really gets that solid heavy black in there. Plus, my tattoo is not even a year old, so. Alright, now these eye holes, these are always lots of fun, the mask. I have to spend a lot of time here because it is very black, very heavy. And honestly, the reality of tattoos is it's never going to be covered completely. Like if you get up real close to a person that has covered their tattoos, even with color correcting, you are going to be able to see just a little bit of, like, you know, like a gray spot a little bit or whatever. But as long as, you know, when you're on stage, that you don't have some big giant tattoo showing, they are not going to see any of this. And really, you have to be looking for the tattoo most of the time to notice that there is one that's been covered. And a little bit of this really does go a long way most of the time. It's just when your tattoos are hella dark that you have to use a little bit more, but it's still, the makeup is so thick that you really hardly put a dent in it. The literal dent in there is from when I was trying to use my finger to apply it, and very quickly realized that was not a good method. But I did research in depth before I got my tattoo to make sure that I was gonna be able to cover it. Because as much as I love Phantom, having having a tattoo of it is not worth sacrificing my career. So I weighed very heavily on my decision to get this, especially the size that I got it, because I knew it was going to be a pain in the ass to cover. But, you know, the more you do it, the better you get and the faster you get. I'm still actually fairly new to this, but I can still get it done in about 30 minutes. And I really only use my color correct or any of the makeup on the line work type stuff. I try to not put it where it's not necessary, because while it does go a long way, you don't want to have to restock on this stuff. You know what I mean? I have to. Time to cover my favorite quote. The I sing only for you quote. That's always one of the saddest parts. And you can layer this if you feel that you need to. And honestly, the more I experiment, I may find even better options to be able to cover this. So far, this has worked for me very well. But there may be other pigments of color correct that might work a little bit better, or different types of foundation. But in the meantime, I have had no problems with this. It's always been very effective. And truly, especially if you don't have huge tattoos, really not as expensive as you'd think. A lot of people think stage makeup like Ben Nye and Mehron, and oh god, that's gonna be expensive. But these were $10, I think, and they are gonna last you a long time. It actually says, like on the website when you buy it, that it'll last. I think this one is gonna last like up to 200 uses, it says. Now, that may not be true for mine. I think it said like 200 to 500 uses. Probably not when your tattoo's as big as mine, but it's still gonna be, it's still gonna last you a while. Because I really have not used a ton at all. And I've covered this full tattoo 3 times with this one particular pot. Right here is another example, like the eye holes of it being very dark and needing to pay extra attention. But I promise you, don't freak out. If it doesn't cover immediately, it will. You just gotta be very patient. If you don't have the patience for this, don't get tattoos. If you're in a situation where you think they're gonna need to be covered, but you don't have the patience to do this and don't have the option to just wear long sleeves all the time or whatever, I would avoid getting tattoos in places like this. I really do hate doing this part by myself, but I have learned to live with it. Because it's just the harsh truth, you are not always going to have someone to help you. You have to be very self-sufficient in theater. It's something that you learn pretty early on. If you have peach fuzz on your upper arms like I do, like, it actually kind of helps if you, like, shave it first. It's kind of weird to talk about, but, you know. Notice when I talk about starting with the places that are going to be the most, that you want to devote the most energy to, those are going to be the places that are the most visible and the darkest. Like, I really
pay attention to my inner arm last, because this is the main thing people are going to see. Because the chandelier is a little bit lighter of a black in a lot of places, it is a bit easier to cover than the rest of it. Again, it's really just that line work that requires the attention. The thing I love about stage makeup is it is so thick that you are not going to have to layer quite as much, or you would just use as much as you would if you were using just an everyday like full coverage concealer. While those will, you know, kind of work after color correcting. As you can see, as much as this has covered just with this first layer that I'm adding of the color correct, I almost don't even need a second concealer on top of it. It's just gonna make it look even better, because this is literally only the first step and is the most difficult part, and then the rest it's all downhill from here. And like I said, that pesky line work, but don't freak out, you'll get it. I got very frustrated the first few times that I did this because it was not covering as much as I wanted it to, but you just gotta keep trying. You get better and better at it, like you know, practicing anything. See here, I'm layering a bit more over the darker line work, and it is starting to older tattoos, you won't have this big of a problem because they are going to be a little bit more faded, but like I said, mine is only a year old, so I have to work a little harder. But it all works out in the end. And this might freak some people out, but if I know that I have to be up early for an audition the next day, or something, a situation where I can't just wear long sleeves, I will actually do my color correcting, since that's what takes the longest, the night before, and just set it and wear a long sleeve shirt that I don't care about getting stuff on to bed. I know that sounds awful, and some people just can't stand the idea of that, but I like my sleep, and I also don't want to be stressing out about getting ready any longer than I have to when I'm getting ready to audition. And then going over the red, it covers pretty much instantly because it's really just blending in with the pigments of the concealer itself. So I'm once more just trying to pay attention to that dark line work. We'll go over Eric's face again, I think. And then once again, set it with your loose powder. Oh, damn, I really need more of this, don't I? Spin it around with your fluffy brush. And there you go. One covered Phantom of the Opera tattoo. Sometimes I will take a little more time with the color correction on those darker spots. It really takes a lot of layering sometimes, and that's just a reality of that kind of tattoo. But for the sake of my sanity today and the length of this video, this is a just kind of normal application, and there are some spots where I would go back and go a little bit darker even after this sets. I probably would go in and do another coat on just a couple of these darker places. But that's all I've got for you today. So stay fantastic with a PH and keep your hand at the level of your eyes. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a quick reminder on July 28th, which is a Sunday, I leave for New York for the intensive, and I will be gone for 2 weeks.
I will try to get some videos done before then and try to upload while I'm there, but it is going to be very hectic, so I can't promise that I will be able to stick to the schedule. So there may be 2 weeks that I am not able to upload. So I'm just giving you guys a warning now. Just so wish me luck, and I will either see you guys while I'm there, or I promise as soon as I get back.